Bodybuilding fandom, there's one question that can always cause an argument. Which era is the best? There are a lot of impressive bodybuilders right now, but according to many fans, the golden era was, and forever will be, the pinnacle of bodybuilding. Well, it's understandable, because that was when the sport combined aesthetics and mass without looking too much. And that's especially because of the diet plans they had. So today, let's look back at the golden era, the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and let's talk about what their diet was like back then. But before we start, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Compared to right now, the diet plans from the golden era were quite different, and in fact, it was pretty unique. Back then, the diet involved low carbs, but high fats and high proteins. Right now, if you see bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman, you'll see they consume a whole lot of carbs. In fact, they probably eat around thousands of grams of carbs every day. But if you compare it to bodybuilders of the golden era, you'll notice that their diet didn't even include half as much carbs as the bodybuilders of today. Of course, you might have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger or others munch on oatmeal or potatoes here and there. But their diet was pretty low on carbs as compared to bodybuilders now. Instead, they relied a lot on fats and protein. You could actually say that their diets resembled the keto diet we hear about today. They ate a lot of beef, especially beef patties.
We ate steaks all year round. We just ate and bust our butts in the gym.
So now Serge did have a few key foods he would eat, and it would actually only be these few foods that he would eat every single day. The diet consisted of an average of 4 kilos of red meat a day, rice, beans, and lentils. That's it. So Serge consumed around 800 grams of protein a day.
Sometimes even their breakfast included a beef patty with eggs. And that reminds me, even eggs were extremely popular. Pretty much all golden era bodybuilders ate a number of eggs throughout their day. It could be whole eggs, not even egg whites like nowadays. Omelette or even cheese omelets, but they made sure to consume a lot of eggs. Besides beef and eggs, bacon was pretty common too in the mornings. But even more than that, one food item that was highly popular was cheese. A lot of their meals included different types of cheese, mainly cottage cheese, which was a slow digestion protein source. Right now, when you think of bodybuilding, you probably think that the staple of their diet is rice or sweet potatoes, and any kind of carbs. But like I mentioned, that wasn't the case for the golden era. It's not just sweet potatoes or vegetables with a high amount of carbs. They didn't consume a lot of vegetables. I mean, you wouldn't see the bodybuilders of golden era munching on broccoli or carrots or green beans. Besides veggies, fruits weren't a huge part of their diet either. You would see them eating fruits from time to time, but not as an important part of their diet. But at the end of the day, meats of animals were the primary source of nutrition for them, especially beef. Chicken, turkey, and tuna were a big part too though, but mostly it was beef, and a whole lot of beef steaks. However, fish wasn't a big part of their diet either. You probably wouldn't have seen them eat salmon or sushi, or only barely. Beef, eggs, cheese, cottage cheese, and sometimes fruit salads were main food sources for those people.
When I train for competition, I'll have maybe like meat, fish, egg, water, maybe one piece of food a day, like a starvation diet. Of course, you get ripped for competition, but you feel so dehydrated, so tired. So then when I came to California, I've learned to eat more, train like twice a day, and also doing cardio and able to give me a chance to gain 10 to 15 pounds more. Now in the 90s, when I came back to competition after 17-year layoff, I got my weight to 330. You know why? I did cardio twice a day. I was eating more calories, more carbohydrates, and posting That's the whole trick, knowing your own body, but food is 75% in order to eating right. You have to have a balanced diet.
Right now, you might be wondering about one thing. What about protein shakes? Well, back in the golden era, protein shakes weren't very popular, simply because there were few choices. They were really expensive and tasted pretty bad. No surprise there, right?
Whey protein actually was available. Whey protein has been available, believe it or not, since the early 30s, but it was not a popular supplement, and it wasn't even commercially available in the 70s because it just tasted bad and it looked bad. And when you put it in a blender, it actually blended green. I mean, it turned a lot of people off. So you didn't see whey supplements in the 70s. I also used a supplement that was actually pretty popular back then. You don't hear about it much these days. It was called Brewer's Yeast. Brewer's Yeast tasted awful. It tasted terrible. I used to mix it in with the drinks. Oh, it was terrible. There was another protein I used, also made by Hoffman's York Barbell Company. Some of you older guys might remember this. It was called Protein from the Sea. And it had a texture. It was aptly named because it had a texture exactly like beach sand. And it tasted like dead fish scales.
So with a diet like that, how did they still manage to have such nice physiques? That's simply because of their training. You know how hard bodybuilders of today train, right? Well, double it. That's how much time the golden era bodybuilders spent on their training. They trained in the mornings and also in the evenings. And these weren't too light trainings in the day. Both the training sessions were hard and intense. So, of course, they were burning a lot more calories and building a lot more muscle.
When I came to this country, I was working out my 5 hours a day. I liked to be a little bit overtrained because to me, I responded better and I got more definition because remember, in my days, we were not as sophisticated when it comes to dieting and we didn't have the food supplements that are available today. I always felt like if I do instead of 20 sets, 30 sets, 35 sets a body part. So I went all out, especially before competition when I wanted to cut down. It was to pile on as many sets as possible.
But that's not all. Those guys were also all about having a balanced lifestyle. Sure, they had a diet plan. They trained hard. But they also gave themselves cheat days every week to make sure their diets weren't completely bland. Some people don't like the idea of cheat days every week, but let's be real, it worked for them. But anyway, every week, they would eat a whole lot of food. They would eat whatever they want and satisfy their cravings without thinking.
We just ate, 4 or 5 times a day, more beef than the guys are eating today. Eggs, salads, bread. We didn't really kind of go on this, extreme, heavy restrictive, diet.
If you compare the diet plans of the golden era to now, you'll see a lot of differences. You'll see a lot more carbs. But because of that, you'll also notice how the physiques are different. The bodybuilders of today look a lot bigger and more bloated with bubble gut than those of the golden era. Most people believe it's simply because of different steroids and different dosages. Yes, that's one reason, but that's not all there is to it. The diets with high protein, low carbs, and the hard training made a huge difference, believe it or not. So let me know what you think of the diet plan of the golden era and that of now. Do you think the diet made a huge difference? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, press the bell icon so you never miss out on future uploads. And I'll see you next time. Till then, peace out and have a great day.